Welcome to another episode of Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. This is the pay-per-view invasion. Um, so I have the card set. I was going to add more promos. I didn't um, after a few. Uh, so this is. I'm just going to run the show the way it is. Usually, if like a pay-per-view was going to be 3 hours, I like to make it 3 hours. But without going over stuff that's already been said, it's kind of like either I repeat myself just to pad it out, or I just go with it the way it is because it is in the limits of the game that allows me to run the show. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's start the show and see how things go. In a pre-show bout that had decent reaction from the crowd but subpar wrestling, Crash Holly defeated Gregory Helms by pinfall with an Irish Corona. Crash Holly wins the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. So this got a 40. In a pre-show bout that had great heat and good wrestling, Chris Jericho defeated Hugh Morris by submission with the Lion Tamer. This got a 72. This should have been on the actual show, even though there was no storyline for it. So they have great chemistry, so I might make that a rivalry, a storyline. In a bout that had great heat and good wrestling, The Undertaker defeated Rhino by pinfall with a choke slam. This got a 78. This was the opening match of the pay-per-view, if you take away the pre-show. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, William Regal defeated Billy Kidman by submission with a Regal stretch. This got a 60. Equal number of WWF versus WCW or WCW versus ECW. So Canyon attacks Rob Van Dam backstage, leaving him down and out. Um, RVD's getting better as gimmick, but this didn't do too well. In about had decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Al Snow defeated Sean Stasiak with the snowplow. This got a 50. In a decent match, O'Hare and Palumbo defeated the Impact Players when Chuck Palumbo made Justin Credible submit to a torture rack. So O'Hare and Palumbo successfully defend the WCW Tag Team titles. Uh, in a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Dudley Boys defeated Edge and Christian when Bubba Ray Dudley pinned Edge after a powerbomb. So this got a 61. Steven Richards and the Godfather backstage. They start brawling. They have to be pulled apart. This didn't do well. The Godfather's getting better as gimmick. I should have just made it a normal hardcore match. I think I'll just get the match over with on TV because trying to drag it out is not doing any favors. A video plays hyping Diamond Dallas Page and Rikishi. This got a 56. In a bout that had great heat and decent wrestling, Diamond Dallas Page defeated Rikishi by pinfall with the Diamond Cutter. So Kurt Angle is standing backstage. He goes, Booker T, I saw what you had to say on SmackDown. You're fighting for survival? You had a chance to save your company by not letting it become a joke. If WCW wasn't so worthless to investors, maybe it would still be operational, but nobody wanted to touch that joke. You let the company you wrestled for be run into the ground, and you're not going to run WWF into the ground. Tonight, we prove one thing you have been scared of having be exposed to the light. When you compare WCW and WWF, WCW was always second rate. The performers that wrestled for that company were second rate. Triple H, I hope you're watching, because when I walk out here WCW champion, you're not going to pick the WCW championship as the title to go at after SummerSlam. Otherwise, I will correct a mistake made at King of the Ring. It's true. It's damn true. So this guy's 62. In a bout that had fantastic heat and great wrestling, Kurt Angle defeated Booker T by submission with an ankle lock. Kurt Angle wins the WCW Championship. So, so W. Okay, so we go backstage after the WCW Championship match, and Triple H is just watching the monitor with a huge smile on his face because now that Kurt Angle is the WCW champion, if Triple H goes after the WCW Championship, um, for what he earned at SummerSlam, for what he earned at King of the Ring, his choice of which world title to go after at SummerSlam, he'll be facing Kurt Angle, and Triple H had to beat Kurt Angle at King of the Ring in the semifinals just to get this opportunity at SummerSlam. So Triple H is kind of thinking, I did it once, I'll just do it again. And this guy's 74. So Michael Cole's backstage. Michael Cole goes, "Please help me welcome my guest at this time, The Rock." And then The Rock walks into camera frame. And Michael Cole goes, "In a few moments, we're going to see Stone Cold Steve Austin defend the WWF Championship against WCW's Buff Bagwell. Do you have a preference of who you would want to see win this championship match?" And The Rock goes, "How can I have a preference when the main event of Invasion is between two jackasses? Do I want to see Stone Cold retain the WWF title? Only because when I win back the title that I was screwed out of, I want to beat up the man who screwed me out of my championship in the first place. Now, I'm no fan of Vince McMahon, but I always said once before that The Rock is Team WWF. I know Buff Bagwell has no chance of walking out of here WWF champion, but if he does, just know The Rock will be in your near future." And Michael Cole goes, "Thank you for that, Rock. JR, Taz, back to you guys." And this guy's 72. In a bout that had fantastic heat and great wrestling, Steve Austin defeated Buff Bagwell by pinfall with the stunner. Stone Cold successfully defends the WWF title. The performance of Steve Austin stood out as being good. So WWF was basically victorious against WCW. WWF and ECW tied, but WCW was victorious over ECW. Well, I guess, yeah, so that was the main event of Invasion. The three people I'm gonna, uh, Austin, Angle, and Jericho. Okay, so the show got 75, so time to make some speeches. Steve Austin, give a hug. Kurt Angle, praise for a great performance. Chris Jericho, pointed as a good example. All right, let's see what happens. Steve Austin seemed pleased. Kurt Angle seemed pleased. Chris Jericho seemed pleased. Yeah, so there were a few stinkers, like balls backstage. They still don't work. Gotta save that for heat. Um, so yeah, obviously the next show will be Raw. Let's check out. Actually, were there backstage happenings before? Yeah, there were a few. Jim Cornette was given a stern warning regarding his behavior. Nothing noteworthy happened from it. Trish Stratus was given a suspension after getting in an argument with a fan outside the arena. Nothing noteworthy happened. And Stone Cold has taken Mark Jindrak under his wing as a protege, just like he did David Flair. So let's look at the uh, email, see what's going on. DirecTV unhappy. I know Stone Cold needs time off. Yeah, because they would want like a 77. So Invasion got 4.24, nearly 1,700,000 buys. Jack Lanza goes, Devon is good in the ring. You should push him. He did what it did. And Taka Michinoku has left WWF because he didn't want to be signed. Yeah, so this was Invasion. I hope you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up if you did. The next video